Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order our El Centro City Council meeting for October the 17th, 2023. It is 6:01. Madam City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Carter,
Present.
Councilmember Oliva,
Present.
Councilmember Garcia,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Marroquin,
Present.
Mayor Cardenas Singh.
Present. At this time, if I could please ask, we will be led with the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Edgar Garcia, invocation by Councilmember Sonia Carter. If I could please ask all of us to stand.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we just simply say thank you. We come to you just asking you to bless the Imperial Valley as we go into our winter months and the health season, Lord. Just bless everybody that they don't get sick. Bless everybody, Lord. This has been a season for the kids already. So just take over in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, colleagues, Councilmember Edgar Garcia and Councilmember Sonia Carter. At this time, please, Madam City Attorney, if you could report out on closed session.
Madam Mayor, there's no reportable action from closed session. However, there's been a request to add items 19A and B to the agenda, which are requests for contributions to local charities, and they'll be presented by Councilmember Oliva. And you can add the item when you get to that point in the agenda.
Would this be the time where I make that motion to add?
You can do it now, or you can we do it when we get to 19A and B.
Councilmember, I would prefer that we add it to the agenda now, so.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion, Madam Mayor, to add 19A and 19B.
Wonderful. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Oliva,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Marroquin,
Yes.
Mayor Cardenas Singh.
Yes, thank
The
you.
motion passes.
Thank you. With that, I'll go ahead and move us on to public comments. This is a public meeting. If there's an item on the agenda on which you wish to be heard, you are asked to complete a blue speaker slip and submit it to the city clerk prior to the start of a meeting. Persons wishing to address the council are not required to identify themselves. However, this information assists the mayor by ensuring that all persons wishing to address the city council is recognized and assists the city clerk in preparing the city council minutes. When the item is announced and your name is called by the mayor, please step to the podium and state your name for the record. Unless the mayor extends the time, there is a 3-minute time limit. If you wish to address the council concerning any other matter not appearing on the agenda, you may do so during the public comment portion of the agenda. However, you may not show a visual presentation without review of that material. If you do so, you will be considered out of order. Madam City Clerk, do we have any blue speaker slips?
We have none, Mayor.
Is there anyone online wishing to make a public comment?
No one available, no.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. With that, I'll go ahead and move us on to consent agenda. Colleagues, that's items 1 through 12 on our agenda. And at this time, a motion has been made by Councilmember Tomas Oliva, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Sylvia Marroquin. Please vote. Thank you. Consent agenda has been adopted, 5-0. All right. Moving us on to public hearing, item number 13 on our agenda. This is item 13, a public hearing to be considered the recommendation of the Planning Commission regarding a 12-month time extension for the Willow Bend tentative subdivision map. At this time, Mr. Angel Hernandez, Community Development Director, if you could please present.
Yes, good evening, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, and members of City Council. The item before you is a request from the property owner of the property where the Willow Bend tentative subdivision map was approved. So as a recap, I know this item's been brought before the City Council every year for the last 3 years. So the project site is outlined in red. It's just outside of the city limits. On the map on the right, you can see the city limits is that black and white line. Property is about 38 acres and it's just east of 4th Street and 630 feet south of Horn Road. So it's outside the city limits, so it doesn't have any zoning, but it is designated for single-family residential. And in particular, regarding the item that's, the request is before you. So the subdivision map allows applicants and for the city or the public agency to extend the life of a map up to 6 years. With the specific project, the Willow Bend subdivision map has already been granted 3 years of extension. So if approved, this would be the 4th year. And a summary of the map. So before you is a copy of the subdivision map that was approved by City Council 2007. It was originally approved for 134 single-family homes. It was also designed to have a park and retention basins. That's those areas on the north and on the east side of the project site. And something that the city staff and the applicant also with some involvement with Caltrans is we're working to provide some amendments to the tenant subdivision map. So we're something that be brought before this body sometime early next year. But in summary, as I mentioned, the land use designation is single family, so it remains consistent with the general plan. Regarding public noticing and environmental, so the project did go through environmental review back in 2005. When this project would be brought before you, we'll bring some updated traffic studies and justification to do an addendum to that previous environmental impact report that was approved. We did have a public hearing before the Planning Commission in August 29. It was public notice. We didn't have any residents or anyone submit any comments regarding the project. And we do have the public notice. We do have a public hearing that's scheduled for today, and it was sent out once again to property owners around that have property surrounding the site and also published in the newspaper. And as to this date, we have not received any comments or concerns regarding the extension of the map. And we do have a public hearing scheduled for today. With that, staff is recommending that the City Council open the public hearing, and after allowing input from the project, from proponents and opponents of the project, that they move forward by approving the resolution before you. That concludes my presentation. I could answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Madam City Clerk, have we received any blue speaker slip?
None, Mayor.
Right. Anyone online
No, none.
this time? I will then close the public hearing and I will bring it back to council for any council comments. Council members, colleagues, questions? Council member Oliva?
Yes, I have a question. Angel, this tentative map was approved in 2007. It's in state statute, that's like a lifetime ago, right? And so my question is, just to be clear so that you could say it for the public, like this tentative map still meets the requirements and everything set by the state in terms of a planning document or the subdivision map, right?
Yes, that's correct. Most of the requirements are under the local zoning code, and they largely remain consistent. Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
Mhm.
I would imagine, since this was designed in 2007, that there might be some changes. And I guess maybe I'm just speaking ahead. So I guess my question would be for the owner, or is anyone here present representing, Mr. Coyne?
Not present. I'm the applicant, but not representing the owner. I am the buyer and the applicant of revitalizing this Willow Bend subdivision.
Okay, so to the extent that you could state, do you envision there being any changes from, obviously the extension is for the subdivision, the tentative map to still exist, but from tentative to final, do you envision there being any significant changes to the map?
I would not call-
Mr. Coyne, can you speak at the microphone? Thank you.
We have been working with staff for, through COVID in the last couple of years of trying to reactivate the subdivision. Maybe some of you know that we've done that quite a bit in other cities. City of Imperial, we're just finishing up on a 2005 approved subdivision behind Walmart and Brawley. We're just moving, and we're planning on moving our construction traders to El Centro here pretty soon. So we've been working with staff immensely to kind of bring it updated to the times, maybe more improved park, better location of the park, and other areas of improvements. Obviously, floor plans and designs of the housing has changed quite a bit. So
Right.
our goal is to bring it up to standards where there's going to be a demand. It's been quite a while since there's been subdivisions in El Centro, and our goal is to change that and make it a viable product and something the city would be proud of as well as us. We have turned around, these subdivisions that were abandoned in the market crash of 2007, 8, 9. This may be the only ones remaining, I think, here in El Centro, but all the cities have. And I've kind of been the turnaround guy for the last 5 to 6 years in the other cities, and we've fared very well. We've had a great working relationship with staff, and we think we have it figured out. Challenges on this one, just to kind of give you a brief idea. 2005, top of the market, entry-level houses were getting pretty close to $400,000, and some of the houses were over $500,000. And some of the conditions after the market crash, we went back to $250,000 to $300,000 houses, and the conditions on this project were so heavy it never penciled. There was a point in time in 2006 or 7 that D.R. Horton, which is a billion-dollar national company, couldn't make this project pencil. I decided I'd take a shot at it. We've been meeting with staff and IID and other people to make sure that we can make it an affordable, viable project and make it happen. And that's what we've been doing, is trying to change some of the conditions around to make it affordable. And we think we're at one low. I've already invested about $40,000 in a Caltrans study because, as you know, they control 4th Street, and they've come back. And they want $1 million signal light at Countryside Drive, for example. And now staff has worked with me, and we're working with Caltrans. I got to pay another $25,000 to Caltrans, and another delay. We're hoping we're either going to make it. They're asking for a turnabout, potentially roundabout study, another $25,000, and we were hoping to be proposing stop signs. You may be aware, not aware, I was a developer of Countryside right across the street. I built out right a third of it or 2/3 of it, and then I sold to Pulte Homes in 2004, a long time. So we were used to dealing with Dannenberg residents. We were used to dealing with Horn Road. I was knocking on doors in 2004 trying to get Horn Road on board. But if you look at that, everybody was concerned about the influx of extra housing. At the end of the day, across the street, there was 330 in my first phase, and then I think there was another 150. Almost 500 houses were built there at the Countryside / Legacy Ranch subdivision. This is only 120 units. So we're excited about it. We're excited to be back in the city of El Centro. And hopefully, if this is successful, which we're confident it will be, that we can continue getting the city of El Centro back on board building housing for the
Thank you,
community.
sir.
So,
I appreciate it. So colleagues,
any
I
other
just,
questions? I may have went too far, but
thank you, sir. I generally, I'm going to be supporting this measure, just so you know, but I just wanted to kind of highlight a point of curiosity, and that is that this map, having been approved in 2007, is I would imagine, going to look a little different when it becomes a final map, and it will reflect current trends, as Mr. Coyne alluded to, square footage of housing, meeting more the needs of what today's buyer market looks like. And so I'm really curious how this map will change when it comes back to us for final map approval. And so those are the things that I was really trying to gauge in terms of how this map will look eventually. So I look forward to it when it becomes final.
cool. Yeah, we've spent countless hours with staff. They've been really cooperative to bring this thing to light. And the start at ground zero would be 2-3 years away. And so we have this already in the mix. It's been abandoned farm ground for a number of years. And so hopefully it's something the city would like. And some of you may know or may not know, but we've been through, what do you call it, project review. And we're also planning on building 177 apartment homes here in the city of El Centro starting first part of next year. So we're looking forward to coming back to the city of El Centro.
Yes, we're excited. Thank you. Colleagues, any other questions at this time? If not, may I have a motion? I'm sorry, was there a question? No, okay. May I have a motion to adopt resolution number 23-99, resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro approving a 12-month extension of the Willow Bend tentative subdivision map for the property encompassing 38 acres of land generally located west of South 4th Street and 630 feet south of Horn Road. This time, motion was made by Councilmember Tomas Oliva, seconded by Councilmember Edgar Garcia. Please vote. Please, thank you so much. That item passes and has been adopted 5-0. Thank you. All right, item number 14, approval of unrepresented public commander MOU. Ms. Dulce Bedoya, Human Resources Director.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Here before you is the unrepresented police commander MOU. The fiscal impact will be, said it wrong, compensation will be paid by the general fund. Pay increases for this group, for this MOU, will be under, oh my goodness, let me start again. Pay increases for the unrepresented police commander management employee as discussed by City Council. The modified terms and conditions are being presented to the City Council for final approval as follows. July of 2024, there will be a 2% COLA increase. Step increases on anniversary date condition upon the employee's performance evaluation rating, his or her performance satisfactory or better. The employer medical insurance contribution caps are set at 80% based on the limited plan. So with that, we're recommending the adoption and approval of resolution of the City Council of the City of El Centro identifying, recognizing, and establishing terms and conditions of employment for unrepresented police commander management employees.
Wonderful. Council members, any questions to Ms. Bedoya? All right. With that, a motion has been made by Councilmember Edgar Garcia, seconded by myself. Please vote. Item passes for adoption resolution number 23-100. Thank you. All right. Moving us on to item number 15, discussion and any necessary action regarding the approval of the program supplemental agreement for CRASL 5169 related to the 2023 Streets Overlay Project. Mr. Abraham will be presenting on this item.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. My name is Felix De Leon. I'll be Associate Civil Engineer. I'll be presenting for Abraham tonight.
Wonderful, thank you.
Before we begin, I'd like to make a formal request to change the formal title. It was inadvertently carried over from a previous item. It should read discussion and any necessary action regarding the approval of the program supplement agreement for CRASL 5169057 related to the Evan Hughes East Main Rehabilitation Project. Thank you. So the program supplement agreement is a routine agreement that the city has with the state and federal, for state and federal funding through Caltrans. In this case, it is for a proposed rehabilitation project on East Main and Evan Hughes from Dogwood Avenue to East City limits. If approved, the city would be able to submit for reimbursement of state funds on this project. We plan on returning to council in November for approval of plans and specs for the proposed project. So Public Works recommends to adopt the resolution so that we can move forward.
Thank you. At this time, I'll bring it back to council. Is there any questions that we might have on this item?
Just one question. How far is the East City limits? How far
It
would
is
that go?
it is near Cooley Road, so it'll be going from Dogwood to near Cooley.
That would be further east
Yes.
towards going to one.
Yes,
Okay.
East City limit.
Alrighty.
All right. Any other questions? No? All right. So entertaining a motion. Motion has been made by Councilmember Edgar Garcia, seconded by Councilmember Sonia Carter. Please vote. Thank you. That item is adopted for resolution number 23-101. Thank you. All right. Item number 16 is rejection of bid received for traffic striping maintenance contract. Will you be presenting this item as well?
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you.
For again, for Abraham Campos. So for item 16, the traffic striping and maintenance contract project was to refresh road striping around the city every 2 years. City staff took the project out to bid, and on August 3rd, we received one bid, which was over the available city budget. Our original estimate was, anticipated estimate was 150,000 per year, and if approved, the bid came in at 608,000 per year. So we, Public Works recommends rejecting the bid. Rejecting the sole bid that was received. And we will go back and look at our other options and the project itself.
Huge
Large
difference.
difference between the two. All right, council members at this time, any questions that we might have on this item? All right, seeing none, motion has been made by Councilmember Tomas Oliva, seconded by Councilmember Sonia Carter. Please vote. Thank you. That is the adoption of Resolution 23-102 has been adopted. Thank you.
This one has no resolution, Madam Mayor.
Oh, I apologize. So just the approval has been made for the rejection for bid for Rove Engineering for the traffic striping maintenance city-wide project. For the record, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 17, approval of termination of proclamation of local emergency for tropical storm Hillary. Chief Joseph Bernal.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. So the resolution we bring before you today is the recommendation to terminate the local emergency. As you remember, on August 25th, a special council meeting, the local emergency proclamation was made in terms to Tropical Cyclone Hillary. Now that we find ourselves about 45 days since then, according to Government Code 8630, it's at the earliest convenience of the council when the conditions no longer warrant the local proclamation to be declared that we bring before you the resolution. And with that, we ask for you to approve the resolution to terminate the local proclamation for Hillary.
Wonderful. Thank you. At this time, motion has been made by Councilmember Edgar Garcia, seconded by Councilmember Sonia Carter. Please vote. And for the record, this is the adoption resolution number 23-02. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Item number 18, discussion and related action regarding change order number 1 for dog park project located at southeast corner of Adams Avenue and 7th Street with Duggan's Construction. Miss Adriana Nava.
Hello, Honorable Mayor and Council. You may recall we have discussed the project of the dog park at a couple of our meetings. A while back, we accepted a donation from Mr. Phil Heald in the amount of $500,000. In addition to that, the city added to that by committing a total of $400,000 from Measure P. So the total budget available for the dog park project, because he already had submitted a deposit to Duggan's of $5,000, was $895,000. And just so that we're familiar regarding the site abuts Adams Avenue, SR 86 on the north end, and then on the south end, Park Avenue, and it is straddled between 6th and 7th Streets. So as it relates to the concept, the heaviest item that as it relates to cost was the restroom, particularly because there was no water or sewer to that location. There was no sewer to that location. We have water because of the irrigation, but we didn't have sewer. So it required a sewer line extension along Park Avenue in order to bring this project to fruition. Additionally, restrooms are pretty costly generally. Prevailing wages and just all of the fixtures that go along with restrooms are expensive. In addition to this, we did have some parking incorporated and then some improvements to the overall layout of the site. So as we proceeded with the project, we noticed that the amounts that we had budgeted and the actual cost reflecting today's numbers have increased for some of these items. So the main ones were the restrooms. In addition to that, we added a mow curb. A mow curb, it's one of our greater expenses. So when you have a fence, the posts on throughout the bottom portion, there's concrete laid out. And so you have to run concrete throughout the entire segment. And while it's a small amount of concrete, a lot of labor is needed in order to carry that out. And reason for that is because some of the smaller dogs can go underneath the fence and run onto the street. The other thing is that it allows the fence to be very fortified. We've had incidents, Adams Avenue is highly transited. We had an incident at the Aquatic Center where somebody went over that fence and it was very, very stable. Reason being is we have at the Aquatic Center, we also have it at the skate park, a mow curb. And this was a design factor that engineering later on added that we needed to make sure we had that, which we thought, was very reasonable, although it did put us over budget. We also had to include a street light adjacent to the park. The parking is angled parking and that area is pretty dark. And so in order for people to walk to their cars to and from the park, we needed a street light at that corner. In addition to that, water and sewer utilities, specifically sewer utilities, were further away than previously estimated. And so paving and road repairs along with traffic control led to a cost difference of approximately $113,000. So, and we had originally budgeted $90,000. So that's a significant increase. Restrooms. You may recall that during, I believe, our June 2022 meeting, restrooms were an item that we discussed at length, mainly because restrooms for us, we have a lot of issues with them citywide. Buckland, the skate park, the parks that get the most use have the most issues with restrooms. So we have heavy vandalism is one of the items that we deal with a lot, especially at the skate park. And so in doing some of the research as to what is the greatest or the latest innovation as it relates to restrooms, this was actually one of the items that was covered by the New York Times recently. This is not just an El Centro phenomenon. New York City has this problem. Tokyo has this problem. This is a worldwide issue with public restrooms. And so one of the items they discussed was the Portland Loo. You may see that at night. The lights are blue. This is to deter drug usage in restrooms, makes it more difficult for people to find veins, et cetera. And then also is open from the top and bottom. So the goal is to go into the restroom and get out. And then also the hand washing stations are outside so that, people can go in and there's hand washing outside. This is a pre-manufactured item. This would be, if we went with this choice, it would be something new for us. And so it's a bit of a pilot. So, I understand if there's reservations because I also have reservations, but at the same time, we deal with so many restroom related issues that if this could assist us, this could be great for us. So with that said, change order, the total amount, including a contingency for just a traditional restroom is $223,550. And if we go with the Portland Blue restroom option, it's $296,565. So while change orders are, are not pleasant, there are some other, things that have happened in our recent projects that could assist. So first, in reviewing the fiscal impact for the Debbie Pittman field lighting, we had some savings in that project, which is great. And then so far for the Swarthout Park field lighting project, the lowest bidder came in significantly lower than we had projected. So we had funding in the amount of $3.59 million, and the lowest bidder was $1.939 million. So assuming the project is awarded to the lowest bidder, we would have a savings about 1.2 million. So while it does affect our Measure P budget, we have some cost savings in 2 other projects where we feel we could reallocate some of these funds, not all of them, towards this one. The extension of the sewer line already occurred. The project is currently under construction. So really the option not to include the restroom, we already spent, that money, so it really wouldn't do us much good. But I'm here to answer any questions. Avery from Duggins is also here. If you have any specific questions, he's been working on this project. And then engineering team is also here. They've been reviewing plans as well. But overall, we think it's a good project. We're seeing just cost overall increase.
All right. Council members, at this time, is there any questions for Miss Adriana? Miss Adriana, I'm just wondering about the restrooms. I'm just wondering, just because they're ventilated up on top and so forth, I'm just wondering how hot they could possibly get. Just out of curiosity, I was
Yeah.
something different.
The nature of the design is to make the user feel uncomfortable, so they're not using it for other things like sleeping, other activities. So the whole goal of it is they are ventilated to make the air go through, but usage of the restroom should be less than 5 minutes. So if it is, an extended period, then, it's time to leave. Most of our other restrooms don't have air conditioning either. They're just our restrooms at Buckland, restrooms at Carlos Aguilar. They're not air conditioned.
All right. Council members, any other questions that we may
So,
have for Miss Adriana?
So that I know, well, the cost savings from the other projects, how much together will that cover the shortfall on the dog park project?
Yes, it would cover the shortfall plus a contingency of 10%, just in case there are any incidentals, we would be able to cover them. But yes.
All right. Mr. Oliva, any questions? Councilmember Sonia? So what's before us is really taking a look at, there's option number 1 and option number 2. And then, of course, the third option is to provide direction. So the option here is approval of change order number 1, which would include a single stall restroom, and approve a budget amendment in the amount of $200,000 from the Debbie Pittman Lighting Field and allocation of the project savings to the dog park, and additionally reallocate $23,550 to Swarthout Park Field lighting project to the dog park. And then the other option is the approval of a change order, which would include a Portland Loo restroom and approve a budget amendment in the amount of the $200,000 as indicated from the Debbie Pittman Field project, and also the reallocation of the $96,565 from the Swarthout Park Field lighting project to the dog park project. So council members, at this time, is anyone willing to make a motion or discussion on item number 1 or number 2?
Can I ask a question, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Well, while we're thinking about what the motion will be, Adriana, what is the total savings of the Debbie Pittman lighting?
200,000.
Okay, so that is why for option 1, I'm sorry, now let me,
Yeah.
I meant the Swarthout Park Field lighting project.
What is the lowest bid was 1.939 million, and we had allocated for that project 3.59 million.
So the amount is significant, and you are on option 1, we would only need to carry over 23,000. Option number 2, it would be 96, and then the remaining savings would then get lumped back into Measure P.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so any funds that go unused on any project stay in the pot. You can't reuse them for anything else. That's why we come back to council if there is a reallocation to memorialize that council approved the action.
Right. No, I was curious what the total savings for Swarthout Park was, that it would be able to absorb either option. That was
Oh,
where I
okay.
was getting.
Yes,
Yeah.
it would by a lot.
Yeah. Got it.
All right, council. So at this time, the option is to take a look at the single stall restroom or to take a look at the Portland Loo restroom. Is there a preference?
Does our chief have
Motion.
any information regarding preference?
And the single stall restroom, would that be an enclosed little building? Kind
Yes.
of like made out of concrete, kind of like similar to what we have at other parks?
Yeah, it's a masonry block
Oh,
building.
okay.
I'll share with you, my only concern is when I think of a dog park, I think of families that would be bringing in small children into the dog park area. And so that's the only reason I'm thinking about the difference between the two restrooms.
May I make a comment, Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I'm going to be real right here. And that is that when this project was brought to us for approval once upon a time, I was hesitant in automatically awarding this project to someone without it going to a public bid. And I think it was because of this, right? Now there's a change order, and now the savings that we were told we would have for this project, where are those savings? Because now it's costing us $200,000 more, right? I feel like this tends to happen a lot, and it's not your fault. I blame the economy, construction companies, whatever. But if I had to make a choice, it would be the one that is less expensive to the taxpayer than the one more expensive. But my first inclination is to say, do it for what you said you were going to do it for. There's no change order, right? Like, that's just my first gut reaction. But if we had to do this, it would be the one that's least expensive, so that it doesn't put such a burden on Measure P and the funding, because that difference of $60-something thousand is significant for other projects, other attainable projects, right? So that's why, first, again, I would just straight out reject this whole thing and just say, build it for the amount that you said you were going to do it. But if we had to have to do it, it would be for the first option.
All right, so for clarification, is that a motion? You're making a motion for the
No?
change order? No? You were just,
No,
okay.
no,
All right,
I'm just expressing myself, because I mean, like, if you're gonna ask, if I had to make a motion, I would say my motion is to say that they are required to do it for the amount that we approve. That's it. But I'm
Yeah,
holding back
and I will
in
tell
case
you
my colleagues have a different motion.
that I brought the minutes back from the meeting that we had, because in the meeting minutes, it was very clear that I thought this project,
No, I know.
the estimation was low, and that we have been working on projects, so we have seen pricing, and we knew pricing would be greater. And one of our council members at the time said, you know, Adriana, Ms. Nava knows, you know, what to do if the project comes over budget, which is to come back to council. But at the time, memorialized and adopted minutes, but at the time, that is what was deemed feasible as starting out the project. And so I will be very clear that as staff, we knew that that wasn't enough, because we haven't seen any park project come in below $1 million. It's just the nature of the times, prevailing wage, in general, just supplies, materials are expensive. We've seen it with lumber, we've seen it with other items. And so as staff, we knew. And so, you know, I want to make sure that I expressed that we had said that we thought that that was going to be too low, you know, especially when you include a restroom. Anytime, you know, as staff, we hesitated to include a restroom as part of this design, because we have one at the skate park, but the thought process was that it was too far, and that for families, it would be difficult, and for the elderly, it would be difficult to walk to the skate park. But as staff, reason why I did a little bit further research, is there anything else that could help us mitigate this? Because while the price is more expensive, maintenance is also very expensive of restrooms. Every time we're replacing sinks, fixtures, all of those things, it adds up year to year. And so I was willing to try on piloting something new on a one-time shot to see how that worked out, and moving forward to see if that was something reasonable that could be implemented. There's no magical solution to restrooms problems. This is something, that goes on in a lot of communities, not just ours. But I want to make sure that there's something we can try. Then if we are in a position to try it, let's try it. And if not, we want to, conserve funds. I'm in support of that too. Whatever the council's decision is,
And I don't know
we
if you could,
support.
yeah, I don't know if you can answer this, Ms. Adriana, but I know that we have a security guard that patrols the skate park area, and because of the proximity, we're talking about just a couple of feet difference. Would our security guard also then begin to patrol the dog park area, the parameter of that section that we have? Or would that have to be rebid, or for us to take a
We
look
could
at?
add it to the scope. We did have that clause. But security also has its shortcomings.
Mhm.
We're human, and so security will be at the skate park dealing with one incident, and there's another incident, a little bit down the road. And so for them to, patrol the aquatic center, the skate park, it may be a little bit difficult, or there will probably be an added cost. And so we also do close the restroom facility. So I want to make sure that, our restroom operations are not 24/7. We do close facilities at night. So it's something we could definitely add.
All right, council members.
So, Adriana, do you anticipate after these change orders, let's say that we move forward with them, do you anticipate any additional?
No,
change
I
orders?
don't.
This
This
is
is
it.
it. This is it.
This is it. And you mentioned something that caught my attention about, the destruction of sinks and things inside, restroom facilities. This Portland Loo has the wash station outside, right?
The goal is so that people are not using it to
Yeah.
wash clothing, shower.
Yeah,
That's the goal of having the hand wash station outside.
outside.
It's been reported that we've had that at the skate park, where people hang their clothes on the fence. And so we're trying to, maybe make things a little bit, deter that type of activity.
Ms. Adriana, may I ask if you could please show us again the rendering for the Portland Loo restroom?
Oh, sorry.
Just for us to take a look at it again.
So one image is a night image of one restroom, and then the other one is an image at a park, somewhere in California, I believe. I can't remember. Either that or Oregon. I'm sorry, I just can't remember where that picture is from.
Just really anchored into the cement, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a prefab restroom. It's very simple in design. The full term operation, I can't tell you, it's bulletproof, because it's, a man-made facility.
And I'm wondering on the height of it because of the vents that are up on top. I'm just wondering, right?
Yes, they are higher so that you wouldn't be able to see your face or anything like that.
Mhm.
You are definitely guaranteed with that privacy, but you can also see if there are any occupants in the restroom and if there's more than one occupant in the restroom as well.
All right, council members, where are we?
Well, if there are no additional change orders, and I think that if we went with option B to deter vandalism and get people in and out of the restrooms quicker, I motion to approve option B to include the Portland Loo restroom.
All right. All right, we have a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Edgar Garcia. Please vote. Thank you. That item passes 4 yeses, 1 no.
Thank you all, and I'm hoping for the best. Thank you for, trying something new and see if it works in our community. I'm hopeful that it's going to help mitigate some of our issues that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving us on to item 19, authorize the disposal of obsolete and surplus city property by auction or sale.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor and members of the council. City Public Works is working on disposing of multiple vehicles and equipments with mechanical issues, many of which the cost of repair exceeds the value of the vehicle or equipment. Approving the list provided presented as surplus allows Public Works to start the auction process through a third party or give these vehicles into trade-in for other vehicles that may be needed. With that, Public Works is recommending adopting the resolution declaring and authorizing the disposal of obsolete and surplus city property by auction or sale. If there's any questions.
Thank you. Council members, any questions that we might have on this item?
So do you have, you've provided a lot of information on each one of the vehicles and so on, but do you have like a value, for these things, or, that you're going to start the auction bids on, or?
I'm not sure on the value. I would have to check
Uh-huh.
with our city shop and Public Works staff.
Yeah, I'm curious, okay, what the process is when these items go up for auction. If we have like a base that you start with and then, it goes from there, or just the best offer is.
I'm not sure.
I know a lot of these are old, okay, but.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would have to check with our staff. We do use, we are currently in subcontract with propertyroom.com for the auction of the miscellaneous property.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Council Members Abraham. If I may assist with that question. So, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, fantastic. Sorry to scare everybody there. Yeah, the auction charges about $350 per vehicle, so that's the starting price, just to at least break even and get in. And in some cases, we're just trying to get rid of the vehicles. Many of these vehicles are police vehicles that have been they're obsolete. They've been in accidents. We even tried to salvage some of the parts so we can replace or repair some of the vehicles that are currently circulating. Some of the equipment is very old equipment that's non-functional, but somebody could potentially buy it and repair it if they so wish. We're doing our effort to restore the funding to the accounts that it would came in. If there was, for example, a streets vehicle or a parts vehicle, the funding recouped for that would be returned to the general fund. If there was a Public Works water vehicle, it would be returned to the Water Enterprise Fund. But historically, the auctions have lended very low returns, like very, very low returns. Just enough sometimes to make the fee even. And if there's something that's very small, we're exploring other options. We could trade them in for other vehicles. Sometimes we have newer vehicles in the list that are things have changed, and we would rather trade it in while they're high in value right now to something that's more useful to staff. So those sort of things that we're looking at this point.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Campos.
Thank you. All right, colleagues, at this time, a motion has been made by myself, seconded by Councilmember Edward Garcia. Thank you. That item passes adoption resolution number 23-103. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the two added items, item 19A and 19B. Mr. Cedric Cesena or Councilmember Tomas Oliva will be giving this presentation. Item A.
Madam Mayor, I'll go ahead and start with the community sponsorship request from Dancing for a Dream Foundation, Inc. So we received a request for a community sponsorship in the amount of $760 to help raise funds to provide financial assistance to families who are struggling to cover the cost of transportation and other essential services for children who are undergoing medical care and treatment for a variety of issues. These funds help support and provide vital services such as food vouchers, gas vouchers for transportation to medical appointments, case management for information and additional resources. In balance currently in the community sponsorship account, we have $2,528. The application has not been submitted yet. However, if approved tonight, we would hold the applicant or the requester for the application in order to meet all the requirements of the policy statement. And once again, the sponsorship request for this particular event has been set at $760.
Thank you, Cedric. For the record, I'd like to report that I will be a judge for the Dancing for a Dream, Bailando por un Sueño. Therefore, I will abstain from the vote. Any questions that we may have on this item?
I just have a comment, if I may. So, colleagues, I did request for this to be added. Very specifically was for the merits that our city manager just made, and that is that of all the philanthropic humanitarian efforts that kind of come before us, this one speaks to me directly. I was a participant back in 2017, and I have seen throughout the years the impact that some of the funds that go with this event go towards families with a child that has been diagnosed with cancer and all the costs that come with it. And so clearly, almost every single one of those families has to go to Rady's Children's Hospital in San Diego. And so the burden of cost, the burden of having to take time off of work, seeking a hotel just so that you could be there for your child, I think merits our consideration. And so for those reasons, I'm asking if we could sponsor.
Wonderful. Madam City Attorney, can we go ahead and have the opportunity to vote on that item? Yes.
Yeah, it will be vocal, voice.
Yes.
Okay,
wonderful.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Tomas Oliva. Please, Madam City Clerk, call the vote.
Councilmember Carter,
Yes.
Councilmember Oliva,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Marroquin. Yes. Mayor Cardenas Singh.
Abstain. Thank you. That item passes with 4 yeses and 1 abstention. Wonderful. Item 19B. Who will be presenting that item?
I'll do that. So
Thank you.
Madam Mayor and colleagues, item 19B is a request that we received from Sir Optimist of El Centro. They are planning a tea event on November 5th, 7th? What is it, 5th, Sunday, November 5th. And the event is to provide a space for families, for both adults and children to come together to brunch. It sounds very warm and opening. I was told that they are bringing in tea from England. And so I find it interesting to create these spaces for which children can get a taste of what is outside Imperial Valley, because a lot of our families don't get that opportunity. The cost of it is very much attainable. Many of us know that when it comes to purchasing a ticket or a seat, it's of 3-digit high value. And so something like this is coming in at $35 for an adult to be able to enjoy a brunch time with their child. I think it would be great for us to be able to sponsor and to provide those opportunities, and the money goes towards scholarships from my understanding. And so I think that it merits our attention again, and I would ask for your consideration and your support in this request.
Thank you. And likewise, for the record, I am the Vice President of Sir Optimist of El Centro. Therefore, I will abstain from the vote. Is there a motion to sponsor the sponsorship? Council member
It's
is
the
for
the
how
amount
much?
is $280.
Right.
And Madam Mayor, just to clarify, the balance on the account would be 1768, $1,768 after the previous sponsorship request.
All right, council members, what is the will of the body?
I would like to make the motion and would ask for a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, if you can please call the roll call vote?
Yes. Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
Councilmember Oliva?
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Marroquin?
Yes.
Mayor Cardenas Singh?
And I will abstain. Thank you. That's 4 yeses with 1 abstention.
Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. As far as legislative action, there is none. Item number 20 in your packet is just an informational item for Imperial and Via Local Emergency Update. That's in your packet. At this time, council members, we will hear council member task reports. And Ms. Sonia, would you like to report?
Yes, yes. Good evening. These last 2 weeks, I attended the Film Commission meeting. We're working on something else now that we cannot work with films. So we try to do different events. So our next event, they said they're keeping it a secret. So just hold on. I think it's coming in January. But the Film Commission, they're really awesome and they're working hard. I attended the fire department open house. Very nice. A lot of kids, a lot of families. It was just a nice event. I also attended the air pollution meeting. We had it on Zoom this time. It was an interesting meeting. They are actually talking about having more meetings because the meetings are growing. A lot of people are interested in what's going on with the air pollution. So in the different cities throughout the Imperial Valley. So they're actually talking about increasing the days. So we'll see. And then also the mayor and I attended the Pride event at Buckland Park. That was a very nice event as well. And that concludes
Wonderful. Thank
my
you.
events.
Councilmember Edgar, no, I'm sorry, Councilmember Tomas Oliva.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Colleagues, so since we last met, there were 2 events that I would like to highlight on, and that is that I was fortunate enough to be invited to the 50th anniversary of the Latino Legislative Caucus. So for those of you that don't know, I participated in a fellowship right out of college, and that's what gave me the opportunity to study or have a space within politics and policy and whatnot. So back in 2007, I was selected to be the Richard G. Polanco Fellow. And that is how I know Assemblymember Esmeralda Soria, who was the author of the Distressed Hospital Loan Program, right? And so it's a tight-knit group. And so it was the 50th anniversary of the Latino Caucus, and folks that I studied in textbooks in college were there. And so it was an amazing time to be able to celebrate Latino politics in California, and just names like Dolores Huerta, Cesar Chavez, Richard Polanco, Fireball, right? Fabian Nunez, right? Like these are folks that have made monumental milestone policies in California, right? Like AB 32, which is the global climate change policy. So it was, I was fortunate to be invited, and it was great to be able to touch base with our state senator, our previous state senator, Ben Wesso, and folks from other regions. And so I hope I did you proud in being able to be there on behalf of the council. And I know that Madam Mayor was there as well, and she will share her perspective of the evening. The other thing was that AB 918 got signed into law by the governor. And so we woke up one day just to find out that the governor had signed it. So all of the work that this council and many others have done, our staff, to be able to push a piece of policy that would help sustain our hospital system was signed by the governor. And so that is just one checkpoint in the journey that is our healthcare system. And I know that Mr. Garcia will share his viewpoints as far as the bill when it comes time to his comments. But I just want to thank everyone that helped in making that policy uh, law now. I'd like to thank the governor and obviously the author, Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia, the co-author, State Senator Steve Padilla. This was not a project of one. It had a long list of supporting groups, and so there was nonprofits, there was entities, cities that supported this piece of policy, and so I'm really glad that the voice of the supermajority of this county was heard by the legislature and the governor. And so now we move forward in what that means, right? And so unfortunately, I do want to just apologize to all of the groups that had events last week. I could not attend as I'm still currently recovering from a bruised rib. And so I was out for a week. And so I hope that all of the events went well, but that was the reason for my absence. And so I'm back at it this week. And so I ask for your consideration in excuse absence for some events, but I'm back at it now. And so with that, I yield back, Madam Mayor.
Wonderful. Thank you. Council Member Edgar Garcia.
Yes, I had the wonderful opportunity to attend the open house at Fire Station right by First Responders Park. It was wonderful to see how that event keeps growing year after year. We had a lot of children there, a lot of families there. I took my boys there. They had a great time playing in the park and then touring the firehouse. They also got to witness our expert firefighters turn a vehicle into a convertible using the jaws of life. They got a kick out of that. That drew a really good crowd, but they really enjoyed the experience and just looking around. It's such a wonderful facility. It's great that we have that event, that we can share it with the public and let them know what's going on in there, and especially for the children. They had a nice little track set up where they were learning some road safety and riding their little tricycles around. Even my kids are a little older, decided they wanted to give it a try too. So, but it was just a fun event. I know a lot of people had fun. I saw a lot of familiar faces from El Centro that went out there with their children in the morning to enjoy that event. So I'm really just happy with the quality of events that we put on, the city staff that puts so much heart and dedication into putting those events together and the planning. And it's just wonderful to see it all come together and see the people out there enjoying it. That's really what we pride ourselves on in this city, and everybody really does it. And they really take pride in putting on these events, and they're just, they just keep getting better and better. As far as what my colleague mentioned, yes, we woke up to some wonderful news, AB 918. Something that we have been envisioning and working on since November. And then once Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia wrote it, it's been a very long process. There's been a lot of work. There's been trips to Sacramento, meetings with stakeholders, meetings with the legislation team, and of course with Senator Padilla's office as well. It's something that finally got to the finish line in terms of the legislation. So it now has been signed into law, which is a very important piece of the puzzle, but it is only a piece of the puzzle. It is basically starting us on a new chapter and a new journey in making AB 918 work for the entire valley. And that's going to take some hard work. It's going to take some work for some dedicated stakeholders and our colleagues in other cities. There has to be appointments now to an interim board. There are going to be several members representing all the different corners of our county in order for them to take the mantle, for them to take this charge in order to re-envision how we look at healthcare in the valley. There's a lot of I's that need to be dotted and a lot of T's that need to be crossed, but this was a monumental moment for Imperial Valley healthcare. AB 918 is not there to make all of our issues go away immediately. No, it is only a vehicle that we can guide to where we need to get so we can have great service and increased service available at an affordable price point and sustainable price point for the residents of our entire county. So it's going to take some time, but this legislation, the reason it's so powerful, again, it's not to solve problems that are on our plate right now. It's envisioning what it can do for healthcare in this county as a whole, decades from now. With the hard work that I know that my colleagues put into this, with the support that we have from our state representatives and from the support that we have from elected officials throughout this county, I know that they will form a board that could make some historic changes to how we deal with healthcare here. And not only will it preserve our access to healthcare in the short term, but like I said previously, this is something that will be enjoyed by our children and their children. This is something that will change the way hospital business is done in this county. And it will only be for the betterment of the care for our residents. So that's why it's so important. But like I said, this is just another chapter. Now that it is law, there is another journey ahead. And the stakeholders throughout this county that are going to be appointed have a significant charge ahead of them. But I'm confident that everybody's heart is in the right place and that they know that this is about us collectively, not individually. And that's what's going to protect our population for decades to come. So I'm very excited about it. Again, I'm very thankful for all of the work that everyone on this board has done, as well as everybody in the cities that we've communicated with. And of course, I cannot give enough praise or respect to our Assemblyman Eduardo Garcia and our State Senator Steve Padilla for all of the work that they did in Sacramento, getting our voices heard. We are a large county, but it seems that a lot of times we find ourselves in the corner because we're all the way at the bottom. You know, we don't have the oceans next to us. We don't have the prestige that other large cities have. And sometimes we may feel forgotten, but this was a moment where we were heard. We were not forgotten. Measures were taken to move legislation at an astonishingly fast pace. And ultimately, the governor heard our call as well and executed his power to make this law. And that will help all of our residents. So again, I'm very, very happy about that. And I'm sure my colleagues feel the same way. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
So I just want to preface Mr. Garcia's comments by saying how proud I am to be a part of this board, the hospital board, at this time, because I think that we are going to set the precedent for what's coming in the future. So it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of stressful meetings, but it's going to come to fruition. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. So let's see, where do I start? We had our IVCCC executive board meeting, that's the continuum of care. And so there was an item that was brought up, and Catholic Charities is seeking funding to purchase properties throughout the city to form like group homes of unsheltered individuals, you know. But one thing I asked is that they do their due diligence by at least surveying, you know, the neighborhoods and contacting, you know, be in contact with the residents there before they establish a group home within their neighborhood. So they still don't have the funding. It's kind of an idea that that they've gotten and they would like to move forward with, but you know, it's just like I know what I can just foresee what would happen in the future if something like that would come into a neighborhood and the residents were not in agreement with this. So I just ask that they do their due diligence. I had the honor of addressing the first LVN graduation and pinning ceremony for Honor Health Services or Sciences, excuse me. It's a new nursing school that was established here in the city of El Centro approximately a year ago. And they just graduated their first group of LVNs. And so, you know, one of the comments that I made to them was that, you know, I also serve on the hospital board, and we know that there is a shortage of nurses that are facing our region. and how much they are needed. And I encourage them to pursue their education and become registered nurses. So I'm hoping for a lot of success stories that come from Honor Health Services School of Nursing. And, you know, the very next morning, you know, I have to say I'm a proud aunt of my niece Lauren is enrolled at the new nursing program that they have through San Diego State University here. And so I attended her white coat ceremony, which is a ceremony to now they're beginning the clinical phase of their studies. And so when she is finished, she will graduate. This is a fast-paced nursing program. They'll be completed in 3 years. And she will graduate with a bachelor's in nursing. So very proud of her. There were so many things happening that Saturday as well, but I was also able to come back to El Centro because the ceremony was in Calexico. And so I came back to El Centro to attend the fire station's open house. And so that was, gosh, you know what, even at that late in the afternoon, there were still quite a bit of people there. And so, you know, for once I got to see the inside of the fire station. Man, you guys have a nice kitchen. You know, so it's like, I have to say that. It's like, yeah, that's really nice. So that evening was also the Woofaween, but I didn't get to go. I was so disappointed because I really enjoy that event, but it's just that my brother only retires once, so I had to go to his retirement party. So let's see. Then the following week, my gosh, National Senior Citizens Day at the Martin Luther King Pavilion. So I was there with our mayor and our city manager, and so we got to address the crowd there. But my gosh, that early in the morning, and you know, the place was packed, and there was a line outside of seniors, you know, waiting to go in. So very well attended and popular event, and I was really impressed with all the vendors and the resource representatives that were there, and you know how much the seniors were really enjoying this event, and kudos to all of the the departments, the teams that got together to put this event together, because my gosh, that was quite an accomplishment. So I commend you. My God, let's see. Then the following day was Red Shoe Day, so I made a pit stop at the corner of State and Imperial Avenues. So I got I stopped to make a little donation there, and then got a photo with the group that were there. And ironically, they were the employees of the Imperial Avenue McDonald's. And as I was driving away, Ronald McDonald showed up, and I missed my opportunity for a photo with him. You know, and you know what? I'm dating myself here, but I remember when that McDonald's first opened. I was a kid. I was probably about maybe 10 to 12 years old, somewhere in there. And Ronald McDonald made an appearance at the McDonald's there. So he brought back memories. Also attended the Mana Las Primeras Award Gala and Scholarship Fundraiser. And our Madam Mayor was there. The following evening, oh my gosh, this is a lot. I attended the Imperial Valley Food Bank's Harvest Bowl. Gosh, you know, this is the first time I've been to that event because they sell out so quickly. You know, you can never get tickets to this, but luckily I was invited to go. That was a beautiful event. This year the theme was like the Greek Isles, and God, it was outdoor. The weather was beautiful, and they had a crowd there, but everything was so nice, so organized. So, you know, and of course, you know, this was a fundraising event. So, you know, they were putting the call out there for pledges. And my gosh, let's see, what else? I think that pretty much sums it all up. Now, it's been a busy month.
It has.
So, yeah.
Thank you for your report. I've been a little under the weather as well, so I'll try not to duplicate some of the items that have already been shared. I attended ICOE's Autumn of the Arts, which is also a scholarship fundraiser provided by Imperial County Office of Education. Imperial County Lawyers Association had a membership mixer. Had the opportunity of participating in a walk to school morning with Heber Elementary School District. Had the opportunity to attend the National Senior Citizen Day. It was great to see, I would say, at least 200, maybe even 300. Oh, I'm getting a thumbs up. How much is up to 300 senior citizens that attended. Oh, 400. All right. It was just great to see the opportunity for individuals just to mingle and exercise and just have a great opportunity to come together and be celebrated. California Latino Legislative Caucus, sitting in a room full of history makers in our community and in our state, was just so powerful. I walked away energized and motivated to continue to fight for equity and social justice. Um, Attended the 8th annual Pride event, attended the Los Vigilantes Drawdown Dinner, and then this morning, myself and Councilmember Oliva and City Manager Cedric had the opportunity to meet with Central Union High School superintendent and school staff. And we had an opportunity to do a walk audit that just took a look at patterns in regards to drop-offs at the school and in which rate they were driving down the street, stopping or not stopping for students, taking a look at the sidewalks, and just having an opportunity just to take a look at student safety and traffic safety. So that was a great opportunity. When we talk about collaboration and partnerships, it's great when we're invited and we have that opportunity to observe and see services that are being provided or areas that need improvement, and how we can be a partner with them. I'm excited about tomorrow. It's Unity Day at Sunflower School. So I'll have the opportunity to participate with students to talk about unity, school safety, and peace. And the list of events and activities have been wonderful to participate. Had the opportunity to participate at the IVC Healthcare Clinic, talking to students, making sure that they had resources that were available to them. So a lot of great things happening. With that, I will say that's the end of my report, but I have upcoming events that I'd like to share with you. So when we talk about the city of El Centro, there's one thing about the city of El Centro, and we make the priority in regards to making sure that we have quality of life opportunities and events for our community. So here we go. Tomorrow, Wednesday, October the 17th, we are going to have a ribbon cutting here for Living El Centro magazine that will take place here with the IB Regional Chamber. That will be here in our courtyard tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Friday, October the 20th is Trunk or Treat. That's going to take place at Stark Field, and that will be from 5 to 9 p.m. Next week on Tuesday, October the 24th, Debbie Pittman Memorial Park Field lighting improvements, ribbon cutting. That will take place at 6:30, and that lighting improvement project was $1.39 million in funded by Measure P. Thursday of next week, October the 26th, is Halloween at the library, and that will take place from 4:30 to 6:30. And Saturday, October the 28th, will be our first responders wall plaque ceremony, and that will take place at 9 a.m. at our First Responders Park, Fire Station number 3. And then we will have our floating pumpkin patch that will be at the Aquatic Center from 12 to 4 o'clock. And that will be on Saturday, October the 28th. So if you take a look at this, this is pretty much every evening there's an opportunity where our community can come out and enjoy an event or an activity that just shows the improvement of the quality of life for our residents in El Centro. I also like to take this opportunity to congratulate our city manager. Monday was Boss's Day, and so congratulations to our city manager for the great work in leading our city, and so we appreciate your great work, Cedric. And Miss Adriana Nava, I'd like to call you up to the podium, please.
Adriana's in
For more
trouble.
events because Gus is gonna kill me.
From our city manager, Mr. Cedric Sesena, and Adriana Nava, I congratulate you. City of El Centro has been awarded $4,782,000 grant to beautify the downtown square area. So congratulations on that. We're looking forward. This project will include food truck court, within the town square, murals, gateway sign, curb inlet, screen projectors, tamper-proof trash cans, recycling bins, new LED lighting, and new benches. So this is a great improvement in regards to the downtown area. We congratulate you for the great work and for working on this grant and being awarded.
Mayor, I would be remiss if I missed out on our colleagues. So if I could have Angel come up here, Andy and Felix, Andy over there. You asked me
Please
to
all
come up here.
We would like to
but
take this
you guys-
opportunity. Come on.
So Omar is not here either, but I will say that when we work on these projects, Caltrans projects specifically like this one, it takes a huge team effort. So these guys work really, really hard on getting the cost estimating, which are all those numbers. They have to be precise because we don't want to come back and ask for more money. And if I do come back, it's because they messed up. But they're great.
She congratulates you and throws you into the bus. Okay, I got it.
No. And then Angel, who also worked, you may recall that we had that downtown workshop.
Yes.
He worked on crafting that presentation. This is not something that, I do alone. Yeah, I'm really good at bringing a team together, but these people put in a lot of effort. And thank you guys for supporting us too, because we all need that little nudge of like, are we getting this done, guys? And so I appreciate that. And I hope that our community knows how hard we're working for them, because it's all of us. It's you. It's all of us. It's our city manager who says, yeah, you know what, go for it. I'll support you. We need all of that. And so thank you guys for supporting us, and know that we will continue working as a team on all of these items.
Thank you. We
guys.
congratulate
Thank you,
you,
guys.
council
Yes.
members.
Thank you,
We
guys.
take this opportunity to thank you for the great work. Congratulations. Also, I'd like to take this opportunity for the public just to share. Here is a flyer that we have. It's here in the back, available. It's also available online. But the city of El Centro receives approximately $560,000 in community development block grant funds each year for housing and community development projects. And the city wants to make sure that we hear your voice and where you would like to see this investment of this money. So there is a QR code. It's also available online. We will be taking inquiries and like to hear your feedback. The deadline for this is November the 8th. So please, this is an opportunity when we talk about making sure that your voice is heard as a community. Please take advantage of this opportunity, and we look forward to hearing from you. That is the end of my report, and I will go ahead and yield over to our city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As far as I attended a lot of the same events as the council did. However, there's a couple that I attended as well. Coffee with a Cop was actually a nice event, although I was there only for a few minutes. I wanted to show up and support our police department in this particular day. I also had the opportunity to attend the Fentanyl Roundtable, which was called on by our district attorney to basically identify ways in which Imperial County can work to counter the effects of fentanyl in the community, which includes looking for funding to educate, prevent, as well as treat those who are affected by the fentanyl epidemic. Outside of that, I also had the opportunity to attend the Ivy Regional Chamber of Commerce Board meeting, where we provided an update to our local businesses. One of the things that our mayor forgot was that we participated in the Drag on Main.
Oh my goodness,
it was
right.
Drag on Main Street was the class of 1963. In my time, we used to call it a cruise, where basically we went from 5th and Main Street, down Main Street as they would back in the 1960s, all the way down to about 12th Street, I think. That's where we kind of, splintered off. So we had actually students from the graduating class of 1963 present. There was very few of them. They were expecting a bigger turnout. However, we had the opportunity to spend some time with them and make this night, I think, a memorable night for them. So it was our police department led the drag, and the city manager's office closed it up. I was in the back, so it was a lot of fun to see them truly enjoy that moment. I also had the opportunity to attend the fire department open house. I must say that it takes a village I think every single department across the city service had something to do with the open house. So I wanted to thank every one of our employees that actually participated. Either they were present, or they helped set up, or they approved the permits, or whatever it was. It takes a lot of work. I'm really intimate with the process, because this was one of my duties before I came to work at the city manager's office. And I must say, Chief Bernal, you did, hit it out of the park. You had balloons and all kinds of things that I never thought of. That was pretty cool. As a matter of fact, approaching the open house, it was obvious that something was happening. Not just because of the people, not just because of the equipment, but you could tell the balloons and everything that was there. That was pretty good. So thank you for that. Also, I like, obviously, aside from thanking our workforce, recognize our department heads for Bosses Days. I think that you guys do a tremendous job. You guys have no idea how easy you guys make my job and my life as it relates to running city services for our community. I get to focus on things that, that I don't have to be worried about, the operations of the city. So thank you for everything you guys do, because you allow me to focus on other issues and problems and concerns. I'd like to also thank our council, my bosses, for, and congratulate them on Bosses Day. But I wanted to recognize them for the AB 918 work. Very few will ever know the amount of work that it's gone into actually getting to where we're at today with AB 918. But most importantly, as a citizen of Imperial County, I thank you for your efforts, because you don't know what you're missing until it's gone. That's the truth of the matter. And this is one of those items in which we do not want to know how it feels to not have healthcare across the Imperial County. So thank you guys for all the hard work. I've, spent countless hours with you guys in the battle, along with also our representatives. But each and every one of you guys, I thank you as a citizen, but also thank you for the work that you guys have done and the quality of work that you guys have showed me. And, I promise that, we'll keep on, pushing along to make sure that this becomes a reality in the near future. So thank you, and end the report.
Thank you so much. All right, it is 7:28 and this meeting is adjourned.